During the course of a program running, it has to make decisions, and these decisions are decided by conditions. So let's get straight to it. We're first going to go over conditions because these decide the outcome of the decision. So as you can see here, we have x and we have y. And if we had a condition that said does x equal to y, then the output would be true. If we go over here and change y, we'll notice that they do not equal each other. So the output would have to be false. So now let's go test this in the code editor. So we're first going to create two new variables. We're going to call one x, as we did in the example, and we're going to say 2. And we're going to call another variable y, which we're going to call 2 as well. And in this condition, we're going to have the condition in print, and we're going to say does x equal to y. So if you want to see if something equals to another variable, you will say x and then you'll say equals twice. So this is basically saying is the first value equal to the second value on the right side of the two equal signs. So we're going to say does x equal to y, and then to output a boolean, and to do this we'll just run this file, and we're gonna have to save it, of course, and we'll just call this if statements and conditions. Okay, now let's test this and you'll see it will output true. So now if we move on to the next one, we're going to say does x not equal to y. And in this case, what we do is if you want to say not, you say exclamation with an equal sign. And to test this, we just run the module, save it, and it will say false because x does equal to y. So here we're looking, does x not equal to y, and it does. So unless we were to change this so they don't equal to each other, then the answers or the output would be true. Yes, they do not equal to each other. A few other operations that we have in Python are is. So here we're saying is x y, and let's make them the same. And what you would think is yes, x does equal to y, but as you see here, it is true, x is y, because they do equal each other. So next we're going to move on to the not operator, and then we're going to move on to the in operator. So here we can say you can just use not to negate. So we can say not x equal to y, and if we run this, we'll see false because it basically negates or inverts the value here. So it's saying x does not equal, or x equals to y not, so you're just reversing the value. Another thing we can do is create a list and give it the value 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we can have a condition that says x in list. So we're going to search if x is in the list, and if it is, then it should output true. And in this case, if we want to say 6, which it is not, then it will give us the value false. So you can test all of these different conditions out as you wish, and test and play with these operations. If statements. These allow you to see if a condition is true or false, and based on it being true or false, if it is true, then it will do the condition that you tell it to, and if it's false, then it will either go to the next if statement, which we call elif in Python, or it will go to the else statement if you do have any of these. And the else statement, basically it will say if all of these if statements are false, then we'll basically go to the else statement and do that condition instead. So let's get straight to it. So now that we're dealing with if statements, we already know conditions, but now we want to see if we can use these conditions as efficiently and effectively as possible. So let's create two variables. We'll say x equals to x equals to 1 and y equals to 2. So This time we don't want to just say, okay, x equals, we want to know if x equals to 1 or x equals to 2, but we want to output something if x equals to 1, and we will also want to output something if x doesn't equal to y, not 1. So what we're going to do is just create an if statement. And to create this if statement, you say if, and then you put the condition right after. So we say if x equals to y, and then you use the colon and enter. And then you'll notice that it indents some space for you automatically. Don't backspace. It's best that your code is indented. And then we say if x equals to y, then we're going to print a string, and we're going to say x equals to y. Right, now let's run this, and we'll notice that nothing outputs because x does not equal to y. So if you want an option that it says something even if x does not equal to y, you will backspace and create an else statement, and then you're going to press on the colon and enter, and then we're going to print x does not equal to y. And then if you run it now, we'll notice that x does not equal to y. And if we set these two to each other and run the module, we'll say x does equal to y, or x equals to y. So that's how an if and else statement works. So now we have an option to say if and else. But what if we want to go through two different if statements while in the program? So in this case, I'm going to say x 1 2, and then we're going to create a list, which we're going to call list. Let's just call this even numbers, right? And then we're going to say 2 4 6 8 10, and let's just get rid of this, and I'm going to say if x in even numbers colon, which is basically saying then we're going to print x is an even number, right? And then usually you'll say else, stop and say print there are no even numbers. And then if we run this, we'll notice we say there are no even numbers, but we do have an even number. We have y. So for that, we're going to enter backspace and use the different version of the if statement, which we've discussed previously, which is elif. And we're going to say elif y in even numbers. Then we're going to print y is an even number. And if we run this module, then we'll notice that we get y is an even number. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please like the video if you did enjoy it, and smash that subscribe button and turn on post notifications so you don't miss the next video. We're going to be going over loops, so stay tuned for that. Peace.